This is Becky. I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you, Susan. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, that sounds great. Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yes, ma'am, that's correct. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I started Spanish in the 10th grade and I took 2 years of it in high school. My college that I go to now, though, requires that for English majors, they have to take two upper levels and two lower level Spanish. So I've actually had Spanish for 6 years total. It's not my best language, obviously, but I feel comfortable having small conversations in it. Yes, ma'am. If I can pass the assessment, then I think that would give me the confidence to feel comfortable doing it. But I would definitely want you guys to test me first because although I do have the experience, I don't live around many people that speak Spanish, so it's not something I use every day. No, ma'am, except my ears have just the regular small piercing in them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yes, ma'am, I have. That's actually one of the things I'm really excited about is to get to live with roommates again. I think that would be like the most incredible thing ever. I actually like that's where my passion is international studies. I taught English in China this summer actually for 4 months, and I very often stayed in different houses of Chinese people. At one point, I shared a room with three other girls. There was two bunk beds in the room, and the three of them spoke very little English, but we were able to communicate. And so I think I would be totally fine with it. I actually currently have a foreign exchange student from Brazil living in my house with me. Well, in my parents' house, not mine. Okay, my biggest goal ever since I can like remember, since I started thinking about my career, was to get my degree in English and move to China to teach English full time. I have a passion for missions and humanitarian work, and I feel like right now where I'm living, there's only so much I could do, and I do a lot here. I teach children's church, and I work at a nursing home in the past, and so I do what I can here. But with school and everything, there's only so much I can be doing at one time, and I feel like at Disney with this internship program, it's like I can have an internship on my resume. I can be like I can have that on my resume. I can be obtaining college courses while I'm there, and at the same time, I'm getting to like help guests and like be part of that family. And I just feel like it would be such an incredible opportunity to get to go there and learn how Disney works and get to be with the other people and my roommates, get to live independently. Like just everything sounds so cool to me. The best part of it to me is the idea of getting to get that work experience for my resume while getting to work for Disney, which I've been a couple times now, and I just think it really is like the most magical place in the world. And so that's why I would feel like really, really honored to be a part of it, and that's why I really want to do it. Yes, ma'am, but if I could add more, I have others that I've actually researched since I filled out my application that I was also very interested in. Okay, I was really interested in a character attendant and cast or entertaining costuming, and then also costume operations. But those were my very top, the ones that you mentioned, and then these that I just mentioned. But since I found out that this program, because when I first did the application, I had not researched it the way that I thought. I thought I had done okay, but I did not research it as much as I should have. And when I realized that you can get college credit for being an intern there, I would literally do any role and be really, really happy with it, if just to be a part of it. But those are my main roles that we both mentioned. Yes, ma'am. Well, I have managerial experience. I make sure that my employees that are under me are always upbeat and happy. I make sure that customer service is the number one thing to me. Every job I've ever worked at, I've always gotten praise for that because I believe that like I used to work at Taco Bell, and there we got a lot more unhappy customers than we do at my textbook store. And there would be times that people would come in and they just looked so upset, and I would do my best to talk to them and make them happy. I'd make jokes with them, and by the time they leave, they were like, "Bye, see you later," and they were so happy. And so I've learned a lot of customer skills that way, customer service skills. I've learned how to encourage my co-workers with a positive attitude. When I worked at the nursing home, I don't know if you want all my work history or just at Dorks, but I worked at a nursing home, and so I got experience taking care of people. So I feel like if there was any type of emergency or bad situation, I could respond. I have my I'm a first responder. I have my CPR certification. I have my AED certification, so I feel like I'm adept in an emergency situation. I've got experience just getting merchandise for people that need it. I've got experience with food. And I also do church activities, and I've been a camp counselor several different times. I was a camp counselor at a horse camp, so I learned how to take care of kids and like teach them how to train horses at the same time. And so that was just like a good experience, me getting to be around kids and understand how to work with them. And that goes as well for my experience working at the church, as I get a lot of time with kids, and they all seem to really like me, and I really love them too. I hope that answers the question. Yes, ma'am. Well, smiling is first and foremost the most important thing, I believe. A good smile, a good attitude. If I was a character, I would throw out my arms and get a big hug. If I was a custodial worker, I think that they do the buttons. I would make sure that everyone's got their button, and I would just do my best to always have a positive attitude. I would say goodbye to everybody. I would greet them just as happily as I possibly could. I cannot think of a situation where it actually I can, yes, ma'am. Once at the nursing home, I had not been there very long. We had all of a sudden we were getting ready for dinner, and all these alarms started going off, and we get a call that there's a tornado not even half a mile down the street. So me and one other coworker, we were the only two on shift at that time. We have 24 residents. We had to get all of them out of their room, get them in the floor, and get all of them pillows in a matter of seconds. And we were both able, we worked together, but we were both able to do that, to get them settled down, to take care of them. And where I live, most people are Christians. We all just held hands and prayed, and I think I was the one that was leading the prayer. I think that was a good way to calm them down. I know at Disney World you can't grab hands with everyone and pray, but for the older community that I was working with, it was a really good way to just calm everybody. When the storm passed, everyone was fine, and we were able to take care of everyone, get them back in bed, and nobody was really upset about it. I would be perfectly fine with it. I think that I'm a very adaptable person and I have experience working outdoors in the heat of the summer for weeks at a time. So I think that I would be just fine with it with any weather condition. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They are coming to my city March 10th, I believe, and I've already taken off work and I have plans to be there for that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I love performing. I always have. I my first trip actually that I remember at Disney World was with my chorus in the 6th grade. We went to downtown Disney and we actually performed on a stage there. We all sang Disney songs in a choir, and then after that ended, there was about 8 of us left who just decided they wanted to dance, and so we had a routine that we had been practicing, and that was actually the first time I'd ever danced before, and it was at Disney World, and it was just the most magical, coolest thing I've ever done. And the same trip to Disney World, and then this past trip, I recently took a trip in December with my family. Just meeting the princesses, it's just, I'm sure you've met them before. It's just like an experience like no other. Meeting the princesses, meeting the characters. My niece and I love Lilo and Stitch. We got to meet Lilo and Stitch this year, and I was probably more excited than she was. And I just want to be the kind of person that can give that kind of joy to somebody else. I have little experience dancing, not anything professional. I go swing dancing about once a month. And I have a little performance experience on a stage acting, not very much, but I've practiced. I've just never had the opportunity to do it. So that's the experience I have with that. I think that's all of it. Yes, ma'am. I've done, I think, a bit of research on it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I will. Oh. Oh, it's okay. No, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better hearing it from someone as opposed to just reading about it. So thank you so much. Well, I would explain to them that the character had other plans. It would definitely depend on which character it is, but say that, for instance, I was with Buzz Lightyear and Woody, and they were gone for the day, and a customer, a guest was asking me about that. I would say, well, Andy's home, and so they had to be back so that he didn't catch them. I think, if I understand correctly, the point of character integrity is that you keep the role, you keep the magic, you don't let them know that it's a character. I mean, it's a real person when you're at the park, and so I think that I would explain to the guest, I'm sorry. I would tell them about other attractions, other characters that we currently have in the park at the time, and I would let them know when the character will be back. And just to keep the character's integrity, I would tell them, depending on the character, what they were doing that would relate to the character. Besides straight cosplay, I don't have a lot of experience in a theater or a show. I've done a little bit of theater work back in middle school, but that was a long time ago, so I really don't think I can count that. Besides, I don't. Besides just my brother, he is currently in high school. He does a lot of school plays. I often help him, like, get ready for them, and I do his hair and his makeup and things like that. I make sure his costume is what he needs. Besides just personal roles like that, I honestly can't say that I have many, but I do just help, him out. Yes, ma'am. I'm really excited about this one. I've never taken classes for it or anything like that, but I do often babysit, and one of my kids that I babysit, I every morning we would look up a video on YouTube and find a new way to do her hair. And every morning we would do her makeup, and like, just cuz it made her feel beautiful whenever we did that. This December, actually, this is my favorite experience I have with that, is my niece, she's 2 years old, and we took them to Disney World for the first time, and she had her Princess Anna costume and her Princess Sophia costume, and each day before we were leaving to go and I was putting on my makeup, she would look at me and she kept saying, I want princess lips. So I would put her up on the counter, and I just like decided which character she was going to be for that day. So I looked up like Princess Sophia's makeup, and I did her makeup just like Princess Sophia would have it, and I looked up her hair and I did her hair just like Princess Sophia's, and I put her in the dress. And when we were at the park, of course everyone was calling her Princess Sophia, and just seeing her face light up every time somebody said that to her was just the cutest thing in the whole world. We did that with Sophia, we did that with Anna, and I loved doing that. with her, and so I have experience in that way with kids that I've helped with, but I just still, once again, I don't have professional experience. That's one of the things I'm excited about, is getting that experience. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry my answers are so long. Thank you. I think that after everything we talked about, I have my heart very much set on being a performer, but if that audition does not go well, I would really like being a character. Sorry if my mind just went blank. A character attendant. I would really like to help keep that integrity, to help make the magic happen, and I'd love, if I can't be the character, I want to take care of the character, and I want to see all the children's faces light up when they see the character. My second choice would probably be the costuming operations. I know I don't have a lot of experience with that yet, but I would really love the experience, and I think that I would be good at it once I'm taught how to do it. And then my third choice would be the Bippity Boppity Boutique. Once again, I think that I would just be really good at that one, and I don't have the credentials to say I've worked at a hair salon, but I do know how to do hair. I've done children's hair for as long as I've been babysitting, since I was 15 years old, and I would think that I would be really good at doing that. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much. That's so exciting. Um, I'm just wondering what the classes are most like. I did research about them, and I found several that looked really interesting to me. I was wondering how those fit in with the schedule of also working at the park. Wow. Hmm. Wow, that sounds so magical. That's just great. I don't think that I have any other questions. I think that you've already answered most of them just in our conversation. But that sounds really cool that they don't you don't do classes at the same time that you work. Actually, the most I've ever worked was one semester I worked 90 hours a week between work and school. Yeah, I that was when I was living by myself. I had two jobs and I was in class full time. And so like that like I wanted to take a break, and that was what this semester is. I'm only working 16 hours a week and taking like 18 at school, so it's not very much. But so the idea that you get to just learn about Disney, and that just sounds so great, and being around people my age that are interested in the same things. I understand if you guys don't accept me, but thank you so much for the opportunity that I could even talk to you. Like I'm really really excited about it. Sorry my answers were so long and I'm nervous. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope you get over your cold as fast as possible. Okay. All right, thank you.